That's what he's saying. This is what he's saying over here.
This is the Forever Natural Podcast, episode number 4, and this is Jay Horn. So, I want to break down something that gets overlooked way too often, and that's the basics of a good training program. I know a lot of people don't have a coach out there, and they follow programs online, so I thought it would be good to talk about the things that encompass a sound program. And just to preface, this will be for those who are trying to transform their body through strength training. So, if your goal is to change body composition and acquire your very own transformation, then I recommend that you listen to what I have to say so you can begin to implement these things, because they will keep you on the right track. So, there's 3 very important rules, if you will, that are non-negotiable in any training program, or at least in my opinion, they should be non-negotiables. It's how I guide my sessions and design my programs. And I think these are critical things that most people don't pay attention to. Now, it can get more nuanced than what I'm about to tell you, but if you understand these 3 rules and execute them properly, then you'll optimize your workouts and get the majority of your gains that you're looking for. So, rule number 1 is safety. Now, look, I know this sounds super obvious, right? But my perspective on this is different, and it might not be what you think. You'd be surprised how many programs out there throw people into dangerous situations and for no good reason. I'm sure everyone listening agrees that if a program is not safe, the risk of injury goes up, and that defeats the entire point of training. You're supposed to progress and get better, not end up sidelined. Now, I'm going to break this down into 3 primary safety violations. These 3 things is what I see people doing a lot, and I'll tell you right now, it's not anything I have my clients do. So the first one is unstable exercises. This is very popular usually among trainers, but now and again, the Gen Pop will head over to the functional area and start doing this stuff. Some examples are Bosu ball squats or dumbbell shoulder presses while balancing on one leg, or Bulgarian split squats with the back foot on the Bosu ball. It might look, quote, functional or cool for Instagram, but in reality, it's unsafe and not effective. The danger from it comes from losing your balance, which can potentially lead to a fall or rolling your ankle. You're very unstable, and the risk increases when you're trying to exercise in these conditions. One time I was at 24 Hour Fitness and I saw an older gentleman, and he was about 60, and he was doing a reverse fly on a free motion, so a cable machine, and it was a high pulley, and he was standing on a medicine ball. So literally, he was standing on a medicine ball while he was doing a reverse cable fly. I mean, I couldn't believe it. This guy was 60. He had no business doing that. And look, if you're trying to transform your body by gaining some muscle, this is actually going to reduce tension on the superficial muscles that you want to target. So it's not very effective as a muscle building stimulus. Hey, what's going on? So before you keep watching, I want to show you some of these natural transformations. Here is Chris. He was 220. We got him down to 190. Here is Jackie. She was 243, and we got her down to 166, and she has Hashimoto's. And here is Ryan. He was 270, and we got him down to 215. And here is Sam. She was 225, and she got down to 148. Look, this is my bread and butter. I can do this all day long. Natural transformations. I want to change your body. Check the description. There's a link. I have a community. We can drop up to 40 pounds in 6 months. Let's go. The next thing is high impact exercises like plyometrics or box jumps. I call these joint wreckers because it wrecks the joints. Typically, before anyone starts doing any of these type of workouts, it's recommended that they can squat 1.5 times their body weight. So basically, this is a prerequisite for plyometrics, and that's so their joints and connective tissues can handle the stress. But I can promise you that most people doing these high impact exercises cannot squat 1.5 times their body weight. Even my clients that can squat that, I still don't have them do this stuff because it's unnecessary wear and tear on the joints. Plus, this is also a poor stimulus for muscle growth because it offloads the muscles. And the third thing is ballistic repetition speeds. Now, we can throw form in here too, and that is very important, but that isn't the scope of this, and I'd rather spotlight repetition speed. So we typically see ballistic repetition speeds with two types of lifters, the CrossFitters and the IFBB Pro bodybuilders. So not only is this also a poor muscle building stimulus, but it's dangerous for the joints and connective tissues. I'll make another video about why it's a poor stimulus, but for now, I really want to focus on the safety aspect. So the rapid speeds, they pose a threat at the turnaround that would be from the negative to the positive contraction, or if you're familiar with biomechanical terms, that would be the eccentric to concentric muscle action. Now, when you go through the negative phase of the repetition, you have to transition out of that to the positive phase. This is called the turnaround spot. So the equation for force is mass times acceleration. And this means the faster you move or the heavier the weight is, the more force you encounter. And when you combine the two, the forces are even greater. So when you drop the weight and yank it back up through that turnaround spot, you spike the forces on your joints and connective tissues. That's a big reason most injuries happen at that turnaround spot. And don't forget, during the negative phase, you are lengthening the muscles. So at this spot of the repetition, they are stretched and most vulnerable. So if you yank the weight out of that stretched position, you put a lot of stress on your joints and tendons. And I mean, honestly, to me, I think throwing weights around is not smart. It doesn't load the muscles very well, and it's potentially dangerous. So if you see anyone in the gym and they're jacked and they're throwing weights around, well, that's your telltale sign that they are probably using anabolics because it's a very poor muscle building stimulus and they are muscular in spite of training like this, not because of it. So I wouldn't copy them. And look, I'm fully prepared for people asking me, hey Jay, how many IFBB titles have you won? I get it. It's the coveted, most prestigious form of fame in the gym industry, the IFBB. Because anytime I bring this up, this seems to be the go-to reply that everybody loves. It's really funny how some people think. Anyhow, those are the three things that I see a lot of, and it's an unsafe environment when working out. So then the question is, how do you implement a safer training program? Well, don't use unstable modalities. Stick with more stable exercise tools such as free weights and machines. Take high impact exercises completely out of your program, and then control your repetition speeds. Don't CrossFit your reps. So after we do that, we need to focus on the next rule, intensity. So when I say intensity, I am speaking about intensity of effort. For the sake of simplicity, we will classify this as the effort you put into each repetition as you move closer and closer to the end of the set. This is basically a measure on how close to muscular failure you get to. Now, some people might confuse intensity with explosive, sloppy reps, but that's not what this is, or at least that's not what I'm referring to. I am talking about controlled effort that is proximal to muscular failure. For a set to be truly effective, it demands real effort where you get close to muscular failure, or actually reach muscular failure. Intensity is the driver of change. It is literally what signals to your body, hey, we've got to build muscle and we need to get stronger. So listen, folks, when you feel the burning sensation in the set, you need to really understand that your set is just beginning. And it's at this point when people usually quit, but you need to push past this. Intensity is the stimulus we are looking for. One way to assess intensity is when your repetitions begin to slow down. So, the closer that you get to true limit failure, the more your repetitions will slow. This is what you want. But when they slow, you need to keep going. Those slower reps will matter the most. So instead of stopping, you need to keep pushing. Most people succumb to the pain, but this is where the magic happens, and it's how I've been able to get such amazing results with my clients. Intensity matters. Now, the third rule is progression. This is where it all comes together. We have a good understanding at this point from the literature that mechanical tension is the driver for muscle growth. So we need to give the muscles greater tension over time, and this is where progression comes in. If your workouts are intense enough, you will force adaptation, and if the body is ready, you will increase muscle mass. When you increase muscle mass through adding contractile proteins, you become stronger. This means you need to continually add more weight to the bar over time instead of using the same weights from before. Without purposeful progression, your body adapts to the workload. When it adapts, you need to create a new challenge so it can adapt again. And if you don't, then you will just maintain. Safety and intensity set the stage, but progression keeps things moving in the right direction. So you want to implement progressive load, which means focus on getting stronger. And I don't mean singles, doubles, and triples. So not like powerlifting. I mean focus on getting stronger in bodybuilding repetition ranges. So that would be between 6 and 30 reps. Now listen, this is especially critical for those who are natural. If someone is natural and muscular, I guarantee you they are very strong. You will not find any natural lifter who is muscular and also weak. It does not exist. Now you'll find that with the steroid crowd a lot, but you're not going to find that with naturals. So if you are in fact natural, progressive load is imperative if you want more muscle. So look, here's the takeaway from this. Any program worth your time has to check all three boxes: safety, intensity, and progression. So number one, safety. The program must avoid risky practices. You need to avoid getting injured. Number two, intensity. The program must emphasize high intensity effort. It needs to be intense enough that your muscles are forced to adapt. And number three, progression. The program must advance through training. Focus on adding weight over time so there's increased mechanical tension. But obviously, you need to do that in strict form. So look, the next time you're going through a program, whether it's from a trainer or something that you've pieced together yourself, or maybe you're using Skynet, ask yourself, is it safe? Am I making it intense? And can I progress with this? If the answer is no to any of those, then I would reassess your game plan. And that's what I got for today. Thanks for listening.